Hello, I am so glad to meet you here. My name is Judy Herman. I'm going to share with you what executive women need to know about setbacks. Now, you may identify yourself as an executive woman. You might identify yourself as a high achieving woman or whatever. Or if you're the husband of a high achieving woman, listen up because, and actually, anyone can really benefit from this, but I especially want to speak to those who've already taken risks of growth because of their position and where they are in life, where they are in their professions. So I'd like to share with you what executive women need to know about setbacks and also share with you about my own personal experiences as well. So when a setback happens, maybe it is a job promotion or a career uh, promotion, or maybe there's a real setback in your personal life, in your family. Maybe you had ideas and plans for your children and they're just not cooperating. It's kind of like you've got the script about how you want their lives to be and they've not followed that, right? They've gone in a different path and it's a setback. It's a setback, it's a disappointment. And so what do you do about that? So either if it's in your personal life, if it's in your marriage, if it's in your career, here's three things that I'd like you to know about setbacks and how very just change your perspective and paradigm about setbacks. Because I've got to share with you early on in my life, when I was going through some major setbacks, there were some decisions that I needed to make. One of those decisions was I going to, had these plans and they weren't working out. I worked really hard to make things happen with other people in my life that were so very valuable to me. They weren't following the script. And so, but what that ended up being, it was actually that setback was, and here's what I want you to know what a setback does for you. It's an invitation to increase your self-awareness. Perhaps that very setback that you have gone through isn't really rejection at all. It's not, what you would judge it to be. That's what we do in our brains, don't we? We have a part of our brains and we have a narrative. It's kind of like, this has to make sense somehow. And the way that it makes sense to me is whatever it is. And then you end up making a story. You make up a story that may not even be true. So setbacks, whether it's the loss of a position in your career, whether it's a child that's not cooperating with the family plans, or whether it's your marriage that is like you've done everything you know to do and it's been a huge setback. But it's an opportunity for increased awareness is the first thing. The second thing, that it's an invitation for intentionality. And again, I'm going to go back to some places in my earlier time of life. I've not always been a psychotherapist. This is actually a second career for me. That first career was raising 4 kids in a very troubled marriage. And what did I do about that? Yeah, I wrote in a lot of journals. I prayed a lot. I did all that I knew to do. And then my spiritual director confronted me with this issue that I have, and this goes back to the increased awareness that, yeah, Judy, what you've got going is what you call social engineering. You are trying to control people's lives. They are separate human beings, and they have their choices, and only you are responsible for you. Only you can do your life. And what I have learned over the years is, yes, doing you and doing your life is a full-time job. Well, what does that require? It requires intentionality. So at a time in my life when I had no idea how I was even going to do it, I decided to further my education. Yes, I'd already had my bachelor's degree. I was going to further my education to become a counselor. Well, I thought it was a total impossibility, but the more I thought about it, the more I prayed about it, the more I, really saw this. And I didn't know how it was even going to happen. And I had so many doubts along the way, so many doubts. Where is the time and energy and money going to come from? But it came, and here I am today. And little did I know what an impact it would be this many years later. And it was a decision that I made. I'm thinking, well, if I can't force my kids to study and go to X, Y, or Z college or do this or that, I'm going to model that to them. So that's what I did. I did. And I don't regret that at all, to model that, right? Rather than trying to socially engineer the people in my life. So number one, it's an invitation for increased awareness. Number two, it's an invitation for intentionality. And number three, it is an invitation for that risk of growth. When we think of risks, we sometimes think of foolish risks, people who don't think and make really dumb decisions. But I'm talking about the risk of growth. And what is that risk of growth for you? What is that step of faith for you? I want to invite you to align into reality. A risk might be, I'm gonna invest in myself. I'm gonna invest in myself because my life is valuable and doing me is a full-time job, and you can have a whole lot more influence doing you and improving in your life and being the best version of you. But it takes that. So executive women need to know what to do about setbacks. Yes, there's going to be the disappointment. We do not want to stay in that for very long, but we want a meaning, we want a narrative that's going to make sense of a bigger picture that God has planned for you, and that is going to really be an invitation to your best self. So it's an invitation for increased awareness, increased intentionality, and taking the right risks of growth. And I want to come alongside you. I had a mentor years ago, Dan Miller, who it really impressed upon me. He said that, and through his speaking, through his books, and even verbally, he said, you need to be spending about 3 to 5% of your income on improving you, of developing you. And I'm telling you, when you do that, I've found that to be very true. But when you invest in yourself, like, yes, it was a huge decision for me to go back and go through my education, jump through all the hoops, and take all the state board exams to become a licensed counselor, and then to continue CEUs, and then continue developing myself. But I'm telling you, it's the best thing I've ever done. But so many people don't know where to go, where to start. I'm not saying everybody's cut out to further their education formally with a doctorate or a master's degree or whatever, but there can be some clarity that you can have. And I have this program called, it's a coaching program, so I'm doing counseling, but yes, I've expanded my services to coaching, but it's called Show Up and Be You. Stop walking on eggshells and live true to you. And when you do that, there's power and influence that you have over your family members. There's power in letting go of the things that you're worried about. There's power in making sense of those disappointments and setbacks in your life. And you can go to bed at night with this peace, and you can be making some decisions that are not based upon fear or guilt, but you can live free from regret. So I'd love to come along and help you with this. And if you are interested, if this resonates with you, please go to my website, judycounselor.com, or email me, judy@judycounselor.com. I had just a limited amount of space for coaching clients because I really put my heart and soul into that one-on-one coaching. And there's such transformation over a 12-week period of time. It's totally amazing. And I'd love to tell you more about it if you are interested. And also, and this is a 3-month program, and it's for 12 weeks. But did you notice that these answers here, what executive women need to know about setbacks? Awareness, intentionality, and risks of growth. That's all in my acronym of breathing fresh air. And I want to help you to breathe fresh air in your life. Because you know what? When you develop yourself, when you heighten your awareness, and you take these deep breaths of air, your family and you especially are going to notice this. And rather than trying to push people to do or socially engineer them to live the life that you have planned for them, instead, you can live this beautiful life that is making an influence on others in such a great way, give you peace and tune you into your purpose, and you can live positively without regret. So I'd love to tell you more. I sure would. I'm just like so excited with the results I've already seen. So go ahead and go to judycounselor.com or Judy at judycounselor.com. If you'd like to email me, get in touch with me. We can have a discovery call. And then if you'd like to order a copy of my book, which is Beyond Messy Relationships, Divine Invitations to Your Authentic Self. And I just am so proud of the Author Academy Awards seal. It is top 10 finalists with Author Academies. And so it's not just my intense and dramatic memoir, but I show up as a therapist at the beginning of each of the chapters. So the things that I've gone through, it's not just reading my story, it's like reading your life as you process these things that I've been through as well. So anyway, I want to let you know you are so valuable and so worth investing in you. And I'd love to work with you. Okay. So thanks so much for joining me. And if this resonates with you, if you're thinking of someone who needs this information, please share, comment. I would love to hear more. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.